Sergeant Sam Parker's heart raced as he ran through the alien jungle of Trifia Prime, his plasma rifle clutched in sweaty hands. The awkward wetness clung to his skin. Lush greenery seemed to surround Parker with every step he took. He muttered breathlessly, "You've seen worse, but he did. This mission is different from the others in that the fate of Earth rests squarely on his shoulders. A rare mineral hidden on this distant planet may hold the key to humanity's survival, and he must keep it safe." A sudden rustle in the bushes brought him back to the present, and Sam spun into a fighting stance. His finger hovered over the trigger, his eyes moving rapidly from side to side, scanning for any sign of danger without warning. A blue blur shot out of the foliage, slamming into him with the force of a freight train. Sam fell backwards, the rifle flying out of his grasp as he hit the ground hard in a daze. He blinked at the dial and held it down as amber eyes stared at him with a fear unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth azure skin seemed to glow in the dappled light that filtered through the canopy, its delicate features almost elven in beauty yet twisted with fear. "Please pan the strange girl in a trembling musical voice. You have to help me, it comes first." Sam could respond to a broken, ear-splitting roar. The eerie stillness of the jungle shook the ground as something massive crashed through the undergrowth, drawing closer with each thundering step. Sam's blood ran cold. He knew that voice. He had heard this voice before in his darkest nightmares. He ordered the girl back before he got up, but it was too late. The creature burst into the clearing, a nightmarish fusion of teeth, claws, and muscle. Its beady eyes focused on the girl, a deep growl rising from its throat. "Sam!" He grabbed the rifle without hesitation and sat between the girl and the monster. The huge paw that rolls from Sam to the side almost avoids his nose. He can feel the being that breathes on your face and breathes calories. "No," the girl cried, her voice in fear. So Sam turned and brought the rifle to the bear. As soon as the creature rushed, he fired empty his open hair, and plasma ruptured from the back of the skull. A heavy shower monster collapsed, and it fell into the jungle floor without anger. Sam stood by. His chest was rising and falling rapidly, and his heartbeat was slow. He turned to the girl. "You saved me," she whispered, her amber eyes shining with gratitude. "I owe you a favor." Sam managed a shaky smile after a long day at work. "Miss Sergeant Sam Parker, at your service," the girl smiled back, and for a moment the terror of the jungle seemed to disappear. "I am the daughter of Ola, senior counselor. Welcome to Trifia Prime, Sam Parker. Let me take you to my village." There's a lot to discuss as Aura leads Sam deep into the alien wilderness. I can't shake the feeling that his mission just took a very unexpected turn, for better or worse. There was no turning back now. The fate of two worlds hung in the air as the Aura guided Sam through the crystal-clear streets of her village. He did not help it, but was surprised by the surrounding foreign architecture. The structure of Honkai seems to be pulsating with life. Azora muttered that her hand gently squeezed Sam's hand, and they were curious. "We have not attracted many tourists to the starry sky." When Sam tried to ignore the weight of the stairs, he nodded. He focused on the heat of Azure and touched her azure skin to shine in the spotted light. "Where are we going?" His low voices looked at my father, Senior Advisor Aora Era, and he responded to some tension. "He wants to know if he attacked me and your creatures." When Sam was heartbroken, he was a soldier who encountered countless dangerous senior advisors, but as he approached, his father welcomed his strange feeling. Village Center Nut Structure. Sam couldn't help but gasp. The High Advisor's chamber is a marvel of organic architecture, its twisted spears seeming to grow directly from the ground, and veins of bioluminescence pulse along the walls, casting an ethereal glow across Azora's space. Let him follow her impatiently as they entered the cavernous room where the High Counselor sat on a twisted wooden throne, his amber eyes narrowing at the sight of Sam's daughter. His voice was low and echoed in the room. "Who is this stranger whom you have brought before me?" Azora lowered her head, her cold black hair falling onto her father's shoulders. "This is Sam Parker, a soldier from the sky. He saved my life in the jungle with a great risk of his own." The senior advisor's gaze changed. His expression was unreadable. "Is this a real stranger? Or are you risking your life for my daughter?" Sam shrugged and looked the senior advisor straight in the eyes. "Yes, sir, I can't watch her kill, not when I have the right to stop it." For a long time, the senior consultant was silent. His eyes came into focus spiritually, and then he slowly nodded. Then you have our gratitude, Sam Parker, and our debt. He turned to Sam's expression. Solemn Sam Parker, in the ancient traditions of our nation, you have earned the right to hold my daughter's hand in marriage. Through this alliance, our debt to you will be fulfilled. Sam's heart skipped a beat at the thought of marrying an alien. It was insanely impossible, and yet he couldn't say anything else as he stared expectantly at Azora with wide yellow eyes. His breaths were strange. Sorry, he said, his voice was firm. Despite the turmoil in his heart, I can't say my people need me. I have to go. Azora stepped forward, her hand finding his. She pleaded, her eyes desperate. You can't just leave now, but Sam couldn't stay. The weight of his mission was frustrating him. The fate of the Earth is dependent. I can't abandon my duty, not even because of that. So the elder advisor's expression froze as his eyes flashed with anger. The law is clear. Sam Parker, the debt must be paid. I can't deny the credit. Sam nodded. His determination is unwavering, and I'm sorry, but I have to do it. My mission is too important. I can't stay here in my aura no matter how much I want to. With that, he turned and walked out of the room, his heart heavy with his decision. Sam, please don't go, Azora called after him. Her voice was full of desperation, but he didn't look back and emerged into the sunlight. Sam knew that his mission had become infinitely more complicated. He had saved Azura's life, but in doing so, he had unknowingly drawn himself into the traditions of her people. Now he had to find a way to complete his mission and ensure Earth's survival, while navigating the complex web of Trina customs, and his own growing feelings for the Aora. It was a daunting task, but Sam never backed down from the challenge. He was going to find a way to make it work no matter how. Sam's lungs were burning as he ran through the alien jungle, his plasma rifle clutched in his sweaty, polished hands. Thick blades slammed into his face and left stinging marks on his skin, but he barely noticed. What he could think of was putting as much distance as possible between himself and Troon Village, seeing him as the impossible choices he was forced to make. He gritted his teeth and muttered under his breath, "Why does it have to be?" The memories of Aura's desperate pleas echoed in his mind, and the pain in her voice was like a dagger in his heart. He never wanted to hurt her, never wanted to betray her trust in him, but his mission was too important to give up, even for his own heart. Suddenly, a blood-curdling roar swept through the jungle, stopping Sam in his tracks. He whirled around, his rifle at the ready, his eyes scanning the dense undergrowth for any sign of the creature. But it wasn't just one creature that emerged from the shadows. It was a whole pack of them, their eyes glinting with malice, their fangs bared in savage snarls. They circled him like wolves, their claws flexing, ready to strike. Sam's heart pounded in his chest, and his mind raced, trying to come up with a plan. He had barely survived his last encounter with one of these monsters. How was he going to meet this whole group of people? The creatures clawed at the air, and their jaws snapped at his heels, and Sam fired his rifle. Plasma bolts are burned in its thick skin, but it is not enough. They constantly crowded his group of people and made him violent, just as he thought everything was lost. A well-known voice emitted in the chaotic Sam, Sam, around him, and incredibly expanded because he saw Azora, leading him to a glowing worker. When she jumped into the race, she moved her body with inhumane grace, and the staff turned the dazzling 9 chaotic sheet. The creatures fell back, howling in pain, as the Zora staff found its mark again and again. Sam watched in awe as his heart swelled with a mixture of gratitude and something else he couldn't quite put together. They fought the creatures, their movements perfectly synchronized, as if they had been fighting side by side for years. Finally, the last monster fell, its lifeless body hitting the jungle floor. Sam turned to face Orla, his chest heaving with effort. "You are back." His voice was full of emotion. Azora looked into his eyes. Amber's eyes shone firmly. "I couldn't let you meet it alone," she said gently. "I love you, Sam, even if you feel different from me." Sam's heart stopped beating when he heard her words. He opened his mouth to answer, but before he could speak, a new voice filled the air. It was a deep rhythmic thrumming, like the beating of some gargantuan heart. Azura_'s eyes widened in horror. "No," she whispered, her voice trembling. Sam frowned impossibly and tightened his grip on the rifle. He asked in a nervous voice, What's the matter? Azure shook her head. Her gaze fixed on the horizon, the queen said, her voice barely audible over the pounding of Sam's heart. The mother of all the creatures, she's coming. Sam followed her gaze, his blood running cold as he saw the monstrous shape rising above the tree line. Just as he saw before, his strong teeth, paws, and pulse, he had seen before. At that moment he knew they had been beaten. Not when the stakes are high. He turned, his jaw set in determination. We have to stop it. He said that despite the fear of people in his blood vessel, his voice was stable. We have to find a way. Aura nodded, her hand found between hers. She spoke along, her voice a fierce, unshaken courage, as they turned to face the approaching horror. Sam felt power in a new discovery. He started this trip alone and performed his tasks, which were heavy, but now he knows he is no longer one. He had Zura by his side, a partner and ally who understood the stakes and was willing to fight for them, no matter what the cost, and with that bond, they formed an unbreakable bond in the heat of battle in the depths of their shared lives. For the target, they may have the opportunity to save not only their own lives but also the fate of both their worlds. The ground shook beneath their feet as the monstrous form of the queen crashed into the jungle. Each footprint of thunder would shine on the ground, and Sam and Isola exchanged nervous glances in their hands. Their pulses ran firmly and unanimously. We need a plan, Sam said with his eyes dashing over the area in the foliage, looking for some cover or tactical advantage. Azora nodded with a furrowed brow, her mind racking with options. The queen was too powerful to face head-on, she said, her voice strained with urgency. We need to find a way to weaken him to level the playing field. Suddenly, for some time inspiration, Sam attacked, for example, lightning minerals that stimulated his breathing sound. My people have to survive. You say it has unique qualities that are rare. Azula's eyes widened, a glimmer of hope burning behind their amber irises. Yes, she whispered with her fingers tightening around her staff. Legend speaks of his ability to sip into the vitality of any living being. If we could use its power against the queen, Sima Jia would be reinforced by solving his rifle-grabbing unstoppable, so it is our plan. We find a mineral and use it to lower her. They fell into the jungle fast and doomed. Their feelings become deeper and deeper, each piece of leaf is rusty, and the queen's roar is echoed on a tree, which always resembles a forced threat. In the jungle's entangled heart, every step contributes to every move. Essence visions of Earth come to mind as countless lives depend on the success of his mission. He had sacrificed so much until now, and now with Azor by his side, it seemed like victory was finally on its way. Azora froze in mid-step as she reached it, her eyes widening and her breath catching in her throat in surprise. She whispered with trembling fingers as she pointed to a glowing vein of crystal snaking along the roots of an old tree. This was the mineral we were looking for. The moment he touched the skin, as he crossed its iridescent surface, a rush of pure energy surged through his veins, filling every nerve with an incredible jolt of electricity. He saw his voice expand, not just my whisper, and never experienced similar things. Era nodded, shining. The power of minerals is unmatched in the entire known universe. She whispered, we may have the ability to work with the queen quickly. Their Sam_CF plasma puck carefully removed the expensive mineral from the trees as they attached it to their faces, and threw a spectral hue with a strangely extreme glow. Now Sam asked his voice to look forward to his muscles around. Just like spring water, Azel's eyes were unwavering, and her chin was like steel. Now that we face the queen, they turn to the thunderous attitude of the enemy, and their footsteps are heavy. When they break into the tree line, their hearts are in sync. The queen's titanic form is vaguely visible in front of them. Her eyes shrouded her original anger. They were dripping with poisonous hunger. Sam lifted his rifle on a mineral pulse cut. On the other hand, the light cast a strange light on his sweat marks, and his face looked extremely ugly. His voice rang through the glade like a war cry, and the queen roared, "Come and take us." In response, her huge chin broke her claws. Samite Sam Upensfed Sam Upensfed Sam Upensfed Sam Upensfed Sam Upensfed Sam Uppershed. A stack of plasma screws is lighting energy into the Emperor's last skin, but she almost has no shrinkage. Her attention was completely on Azora, her eyes and unhappy people. Her skills and dexterity were attracted by the queen's size and primitive power, And just as the queen's chin closed around the Azora body, Sam fled. But as Sam fled, mineral fragments tightly grabbed her fist, and she cried violently. He threw it deep into the queen's eye. The glowing stone, which flared into a sickly pulsing light, shot into the queen's back with a deafening scream of pain, tearing her massive body from her throat and convulsing as the mineral's power coursed through her veins, draining her life force with each hit. It passed. Second, with a final closing gasp, the queen collapsed to the ground, her monstrous form silent and lifeless. Her reign of terror was finally over, and Sam and Azora were standing on her chest, eyes wide in disbelief and triumph. "We did it," Sam whispered, his voice raw with emotion, his hands trembling with the aftershocks of adrenaline. "We actually did it." Aura turned to him, her amber eyes shimmering with a fierce, unbreakable love together. She said softly, her fingers intertwining with his touch, and she balmed his battered soul. As they stood there, surrounded by the wreckage of the battle, Sam knew that his mission was far from over. He still had to find a way to get the minerals back to Earth to ensure the future of his people, but that didn't matter at that point. What exists is just the heat of Halo, because he knows that they have looked at the impossible and won the overall fight and sacrifice as they turn to the vague way forward. Their hearts are related to love outside the world. As Sam and Azora entered the village of Traran, the elders gathered around them wide-eyed in awe and respect, and word of their victory over the queen had spread like wildfire, and the truants hailed them as the saviors of their world. The High Counselor stepped forward, his amber eyes glowing with gratitude. "Sam for Parker." He said it in a voice thick with emotion. "You not only saved my daughter's life but the lives of all our people. We are forever in your debt." Sam looked the senior advisor in the eyes, his heart pounding heavily, and his decision was filled with the weight of the senior advisor. His tone was even and firm, "And I already understood the meaning of your legacy and the connection between Azor and me. Ready to do my duty, I stood beside her, her husband, and her mate Isola, breathing heavily, her hands clasped tightly around his eyes, filled with joy and disbelief. Sam, are you confident in your mission and your people?" Azora, full of love and determination, "Came here to find a way to save the world, but I found something far more valuable. You and I know now that my place is with you, no matter what the future holds, but I will not give up on my mission. I believe there is a way to bring minerals back to Earth and ensure the survival of both our worlds." The senior advisor's eyes widened with curiosity about the mineral. "What's this?" "You are talking about Sam Parker." Sam Parker, breathing deeply and realizing that he has not shared his mission with Truan High's consultant, "And my people on Earth urgently need a rare mineral. This is very important for our survival." The High Counselor nodded, a glimmer of standing in his eyes. "I see, and have you found this mineral during your time here?" Sam hesitated, his mind racing. He had been so focused on his feelings for Azora in the battle against the Queen that he had almost forgotten about the mineral, but then a sudden realization struck him. The crystal in his eyes whispered, expanding in excitement, "The crystal we used to defeat the Queen. Could this be the mineral I've been looking for?" "Indeed, Sam Parker. These crystals are the essence of our world, imbued with power beyond imagination, and now a symbol of the bond between our people. I give them to you as a wedding gift to return to your world and ensure the survival of your people." Gratitude and relief appeared in Sam's heart. "Counselor Gao, I don't know how to thank you. It means more to me and my people than you can imagine. Another thing. Sam Parker, our tradition shows that you not only have to marry Aora, but also make sure that our boundaries continue. You should end your pregnancy as soon as possible." Sam's pulse quickened, his eyes searched for the Zulu I knew, and his face turned dark blue. His voice is low and full of desire. "My love, I know our journey together has only just begun, but I can't imagine a greater honor than to start a family with you. Will you join me in creating new life and uniting our worlds in the deepest way possible?" With Azora's eyes shining with tears of joy and her heart overflowing with love. "Yes, Sam," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "I want nothing more than to build a future with you and create a family that spans all the stars." As the villagers cheered and celebrated, Sam pulled Orla into his arms with his lips and claimed hers in a passionate kiss, and they were lost in each other, their love burning brighter than ever. Over the next few days, Sam and Aura explored their newfound bond. Their love grew stronger with time, and when their union was formed, they did it with unbridled passion and joy. Star Azora gasped, her body shaking with pleasure. I have no clue. People were so viral. The males of my species can only mate once a year, but you are insatiable. Sam laughed, his eyes sparkling with mischief. When it came to loving your Azura, I have no limits. I will spend every day of our lives showing you just how much you mean to me. Azora smiled, her heart filled with love and gratitude. I will spend every day by your side, loving you and building a future together. As they lay in each other's arms, the envy of the galaxy, Sam and Azula knew they had found something truly special. An aura of love that transcended the boundaries of their world, his voice soft and full of emotion. I know we have to make a difficult decision about leaving a planet with the minerals it needs to survive, but I can't bear the thought of leaving you behind. Will you come to Earth with me, help me complete my mission, and build a new life together? Azula's eyes shine with love and determination. Sam, wherever you go, I will follow you. Your world is now my world, your people and my people together. We will find a way to save the planet and Trinity Prime, and create a future where our love can flourish among the stars. He said it with determination in his voice. Let's collect the crystals and return to Earth to start the next chapter of our lives together. Hand in hand, heart to heart, Sam and Zora, to embark on our new journey, ready to face whatever challenges the future holds. They know that with love as their guide, there are no obstacles, no dreams they can overcome, and no dreams they can achieve. And when they look up at the stars and the endless possibilities before them, they know that their love will be the essence of things. A shining beacon of hope and unity in a galaxy too often divided by fear and mistrust.